Hello everyone, and welcome to Wireman's Whimsy. I'm Lorraine, and today we're going to do a variation of this season's greetings card. We're using the Evergreen Forest 3D embossing folder. I'll be using the trees from the Pine Woods die set, and I will be using the greeting, the season's greetings from the In the Pines stamp set. So using basically the In the Pines bundle with the Evergreen Forest added in. The change I'm going to make today is I'm going to do it on a white card base with the Misty Moonlight layered over top. What I found was when I did the embossing folder directly on the card, although it's really pretty, it does tend to make the card a little bit floppy and uneven. So I thought what I would do is modify it for the embossed piece to be a matte instead. So to do that, I'm going to take my embossing folder and open it up. And because it's a matte, it doesn't really matter which way round I put it in. There's no, whichever way it comes out will be the right side up. Using my Stampin' Cut and Emboss, I'm using the base plate plus the number 4 plate for the embossing, the 3D embossing folders. And I'll just run that through, and it's a little bit tight, so you gotta give it a bit of oomph. And there we go. And it does snap and bang like that, and that's just fine. So I will just put those off to the side, and we now have our embossed scene. So it's really your choice which you'd like to see. I prefer to see the trees raised up, so I would put it on that way. We need to make the trees that go on the front, and there's 2 sizes of trees, and then there is the snowdrift on the bottom. So I'm going to run these through the Stampin' Cut and Emboss. You've got a couple of choices with these. Because they're basically solid, you can just use your Stampin' Seal if you want on them, or you can use the adhesive sticker paper. I did these with the sticker paper, but I'm going to try these ones today with the Stampin' Seal, basically because I want to see if it gives it a little bit more depth as opposed to just being flat. So I ran that through with those dies. I'm just going to pop the ones I've already cut out of the paper, and then I'm going to run it through one more time so that I've got the 3rd tree. There we go. Using the magnetic base and then the number 3 cutting plates. Run that through the Stampin' Emboss and cut that tree out. Now, if you don't have a wire brush and sponge to remove the bits and pieces from the middle of the trees, that's fine. You can use whatever you've got. I do have a brush and sponge, so I am going to do that now. I like to do it on the back, and I'm just going to rub that over and see if we can't get those little bits out. And sometimes you still either need to go in just with your fingers and you can pop them out, or a stylus of some kind. So that one's ready. Let's get these ones done. And that one's going to take a little bit to get the pieces out. The sponge mat and the brush I find really useful. The brush and sponge are also very useful for those detailed dies where the image actually can get stuck in the die, and you just need to run it over the front of the die to get the pieces out, or the piece actually out of the die. So I'll just run that over and then take out any little remaining ones. See, I did this one on the front and it's kind of curved the tree up a little bit. So I'm just going to turn it over and do it on the back again. So the tree isn't kind of curved up, it's curved back. And one last bit, and then we can construct the card. So I will put the dies off to the side. I will put the sponge and the brush off to the side. So I am going to use my Stamp and Seal and adhere the embossed Misty Moonlight down to the card base using the standard way I center cards. There we go. Okay, now we need to cut our greeting piece, our little snowdrift on the bottom. What I've done is I know that I want it to be the 5 1/4 of the mat. So I've already cut my piece of Whisper White scrap to that size. I'm going to place my die on it, just kind of centering it. How high up on here you place it will determine how wide your snowdrift is. If you want just a shallow one, you can put it lower. If you want a wider one, you can put it higher. I'm just going to pop it a little bit higher on this one than I put on the example. And I'm just going to run that through the Stamp and Cut and Emboss. And it's crooked, so I'm going to straighten that up. There we go. And run it through. There we go. And I'll take that out. And you end up with the two pieces, both of which you can use. This one, the piece of paper was like that, and I wanted this piece as my cutaway piece for the bottom of the card. You could absolutely use this if you wanted to do layers of snow. You could put that there, and then you can layer this one over top, whichever way around you'd like to do it. So you do get layers of the snow at the bottom, or you can save that piece and use it on another card. I am going to stamp the Season's Greetings on here with the Misty Moonlight ink pad. And I'm just going to move this out of the way. I do seem to have crowded myself today, but that's okay. So I'm going to do the Season's Greetings. And as usual with the photopolymer stamps, you can really see how you've inked up, but I am just going to stamp away just to make sure. Okay, and then I'm just going to place this on the cutaway. There we go. So easy peasy, that's done. Now we can just construct the card. So you can choose to add dimensionals to this or stick it right down. And what I chose to do was stick it down flat. But before I did that, I decided where I wanted the trees to go. Just so that I knew that when I put my piece down, it was actually going to cover the stems of the trees. So I'm just going to lift this up, and I'm just going to run the Stamp and Seal just down the back of the tree, and we'll place this one down. And then I'm going to do this one and place it, and then we'll do the little one. And just a little bit of Stamp and Seal is all it needs. It doesn't need a lot. And I'm going to place that one right there. And then I'm going to just run the Stamp and Seal all the way across the back here and place it. You can place it right at the bottom if you want, or you can place it a little bit up. And I wanted to place it just a little bit up. Just going to make sure it's lined up. And there you go. There's the completed card, the two versions. The one where I haven't used a Whisper White card base, and the one where I have. The Whisper White card base is a bit more sturdy for standing it up on its end. So If you would like any of the products in this video, please use the links below. And if you have any questions, please feel free to let me know. Thanks very much, and we'll see you next time.